Should be live. Okay. I'm going to wait for a few people to come in here and, get going. Wait for the flow in. I know it's a weird time of the day. We got 3 people currently in here, so leave the comments down below when you're, in the stream. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the top Week 7 waivers going into Week 7. Notifications going through. We already got Christian Rosa in here. First comment. Love your show. Appreciate that a lot. Christian means a lot. We do what we can over here at the Fantasy Stock Exchange. And for people to flow in. What's up, Sexy Pats? Love seeing you out here. And sorry we had to handle you guys on Sunday, eh? All jokes aside, that game probably lost some years on my life. Yep, Brett, going to actually be talking about a couple waiver wire running backs that could help you out. I believe there's, two listed here. So stay tuned, and I'll be going through all of my top 5 waiver pickups of the week. But just going to let a few people roll in here and then get started with it. Daniel, I've traded my break. Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a huge day of studying because I got an exam tomorrow. So thought may as well put this out as soon as possible. And then Bush is going to be talking about trade targets later on today. So great show. Keep it up. Appreciate that a lot, Kelvin. It means a lot. Hey, yo, how you doing, Dan? Yeah, I'm doing well. Just going to be a really, really busy week here in school. So Bush is going to be handling a lot of the videos. But you know what? I'm going to be talking about waivers, so shouldn't be too bad. 7 people in here. Let's keep it rolling. Probably going to give it to 3-4 minutes and then start talking about waivers. Game last night, though, eh? Fuck. Also, side note, another Monday Night Football loss for me in my home league. Straight pain. Julio Jones, Mike Vrabel just says, yeah, here it is hamstring. Doesn't play the whole fourth quarter. Ends up screwing me. There are a ton of most used catchphrases. Bush is going to be able to tell you a lot more than me because I don't notice them a lot when I talk. But I say, with that being said, a lot. I say, my guy. I say stuff like that, like basically almost religiously in videos without even noticing. So that's something like Bush will be able to say like easily because, I have a lot of things I just repeat. But Henry is not human. Yeah, I know. I agree. And we did our rest of season rankings a couple weeks ago, or last week. But with the news of McCaffrey obviously missing these next few games, I firmly feel right now that Henry's just in a tier of his own right now. And like he can single-handedly win you some matchups. I mean, yeah, setting the tone is another really good one. Spicy Hot said that right there. But we're about to hit the 4 minutes. So once we do that, then I can talk about my top 5 waiver pickups of the week. Still thinking whether I want to go in inverse order or just straight up. Doesn't matter. Danny, I'm looking ahead for a week 8 streamer at tight end. Andrews would be on bye. My other option is Higbee at Houston or pick up Hunter off waivers. He faces the Chargers. Both defenses are bottom 2 against tight ends. I'd probably just roll with Tyler Higbee there just because I trust the offense a lot more. But Hunter Henry's also another good option. Both should be fringe tight end 1 type. So, yeah. Hey, Danny, I have a great team with CMC. Elliott Gibson had Russen traded for Mike Williams, and I'm 2-4. Yeah, dude, that shit will happen sometimes, and it's infuriating. I like in my home league, I could be 4-2 right now, but I have 2 separate Monday Night Football losses, and I'm 2-4. So, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I got Kyler and Keenan Allen for CMC and Joe Burrow. Thoughts? If you can't stomach the RB injury at CMC, I guess, but I probably personally would have still preferred Christian McCaffrey because I think he can, once he's back, enter that tier with Henry and the top fantasy football given his utilization. So let's start off with the waivers. It's at about 4 minutes, about almost 5 now. Number one pickup of the week, in my opinion, is going to be Rashod Bateman, wide receiver from the Baltimore Ravens, 27% rostered via Yahoo Fantasy. And listen, if you guys have been a fan of the channel for a while now, you would know my thoughts. You would know Corey's thoughts. You would know our combined thoughts on what Rashod Bateman does as a football player. Well, we were able to see on Sunday that he stepped in, first career game, was able to garner a 22% target share in that game against the Chargers, despite Lamar only throwing 27 times. We saw Rashod Bateman get targeted on 6 of those. He was able to turn that into a 4 for 29 stat line, which, isn't too impressive, but we should see better game scripts for him, to say the least. I mean, as good as the Ravens are, they're not going to be blowing every team out 34-6, especially not teams the caliber of the Chargers every week. So I think Rashod Bateman's here to stay. I think he could be a locked and loaded wide receiver 3 rest of the season. And we saw, utilization coming off the injury, wasn't held back at all. Third on the team in routes run despite the Ravens blowing them out. And I think he's a priority add. If you have the number one waiver priority in the league, I think he's worth that. And in terms of FAAB, if you're in a FAAB designated type of league, I think he could be had for less than 15% of your total budget, simply because he's not coming off a huge game. And if he's already available in your league, it's more than likely that your league, I don't want to say casual, but hasn't really caught up to the fact that Rashod Bateman should be owned in all formats. So absolutely love Rashod Bateman. So we'll get into a few of these comments left here. Daryl Williams or Gaskin. I actually prefer Daryl Williams as long as CH is out. We saw the opportunity share that he had in that game this past weekend. Oddly enough, you're going to want to cover your ears for the sexy pass, but Daryl Williams actually had more points this past week than CH has had in his entire career. And that's, that again, keep in mind, that's simply to do with the fact that CH was fending off a guy like Daryl Williams, whereas Daryl Williams, for the most part, had that backfield locked down. But either way, it was a pretty impressive fantasy performance. It wasn't all that efficient, but it doesn't really have to be when the Chiefs offense is humming and hoeing the way it was today or yesterday. Or Sunday. Oh my God. I can't believe it's Tuesday. Should I trade away CMC for Darrell Henderson and Debo PPR? If you're in desperate need of a depth piece or a player to play now, I guess, but I personally would need a running back more like Aaron Jones. I'm running back more like, I don't know, Jonathan Taylor, somebody in that range, plus a depth piece if I'm going to be moving off CMC, simply because I see CMC's advantage over the rest of the running back position, apart from Derrick Henry, when he is on the field, being that much higher. So I personally would need a better running back than Darrell Henderson. He still kind of has me concerned a little bit with the fact that he has been a volatile running back throughout his career, and he hasn't been the most durable. So we'll see how he lasts. But either way, I'm saying durable, like CMC's not out, but CMC's advantage when he's on the field. We see 25 opportunities, we see 10 targets, we see a touchdown per game. He is just that level of fantasy asset when he is playing football. I have CMC Mixon Swift. Guy in my league wants Hurts and will give me Gibson. Would you do that? Yeah, like if you like, I would do that in a heartbeat. I still think Gibson, despite the shin, is well worth the gamble, especially for a guy like Hurts. I wonder who else you'd be starting at quarterback, but if you have a guy even like Burrow or Tannehill on the bench, I'd be fine with giving up Hurts to go and get Gibson there. Javonte Higgins, Daryl Williams, or Khalil Herbert. Who do I sit? Out of these, like, again, I have to keep looking into the matchups. I haven't really done all my work going into week 7 just yet in terms of actual start sits. But looking on this right now, if Damian Williams is set to come back, he was on the COVID list this past week. If Damian Williams is set to come back, that should be a 50-50 type of split in that backfield. Maybe a little bit of a lean towards Damian Williams in crucial situations, whether it be goal line, whether it be third down situations. For that reasons, if Damian Williams is expected back in this game, I will be sitting Khalil Herbert out of these bunch, but it's pretty close. Now, if Damian Williams isn't sitting, if Khalil Herbert has the same role that he did this week, my sit would probably be Javonte. But yeah, it's pretty close. Daryl Williams or Eli Mitchell. I'll go with Daryl Williams here simply because as much as I like Eli Mitchell in terms of the talent over Daryl Williams, we saw that Daryl Williams was the main back this week, was used like the main back. And although Elijah Mitchell can say the same thing, we still have a bunch of ambiguity surrounding the Niners on a week-to-week basis, to the point where I'd be more willing to start a Daryl Williams where you know what kind of role he's going to get. So Aaron Rodgers or Jalen Hurts. I have to look at the matchup, but let me Let me take a look. I'm already leading Jalen Hurts because of the rushing, assuming this is a 4-point passing touchdown league. But let me just look at the matchups and confirm with you. So we got the Eagles going up against the Raiders, and we have the Packers going up against. Am I tripping? Where are they? Packers. Oh, I can't. Oh, Washington. Yeah, I would still go with Jalen Hurts there. They're pretty comparable matchups. Maybe you lean Washington there, but the fact of the matter is Jalen Hurts is going to contribute a lot with his legs, so I would go with him. Daryl Williams or AJ Brown, full PPR. I'm still going with AJ Brown here. I mean, AJ Brown, she looked a lot healthier. I know he was dealing with the illness, I believe. I think he got food poisoning from Chipotle, I think was the story, but he looked good on Monday Night Football. Stepped it up big time in the second half, and we know as good as I think Julio Jones is, like AJ Brown is the clear alpha in terms of the receiving game for the Titans. So especially with Julio Brown actually lingering his hamstring in that game. So I would go with AJ Brown there. Would probably have to stream a quarterback. Yeah, like who are your running backs again? CMC, Mixon, Swift, Saquon, Carter. I mean, the fact is CMC and Saquon are going to be out for a few weeks for you. So if you want to take the gamble and get depth at the running back position, yeah, like I'm perfectly fine with going after Gibson there, especially if you trust your ability to stream. AJ Green or Darnell Mooney, flex position. Given the way AJ Green's been playing, like I don't trust the Chicago Bears offense. I think that they are inconsistent, that they are putrid. And at the very least, like, although I don't think AJ Green's obviously not the player he once was, at least this Cardinals offense has shown that they can support multiple receiving weapons. So I would actually go with AJ Green here. I think the upside is higher with the Cardinals offense, given the way Kyler Murray's been playing, given the way that the offense has really been moving the ball. I shipped off CMC, think I can get Henry since this guy who has Henry wanted D-Hop. He isn't budging to ship Henry, which makes sense. Rip my plan. Yeah, that's pain for you, Zach. Where do you rank Michael Pittman this week? He's probably going to be locked and loaded in that wide receiver 30 to 40 type range for me for the remainder of the season. We did see that T.Y. Hilton came back, but then he re-aggravated his injury, I believe. So we have to see how that transpires because we did see Michael Pittman's utilization with T.Y. Hilton on the field drop a pretty decent chunk. But either way, I think I'm just chalking this game to variance. I mean, Pittman has shown in his remaining 5 games of this year, or the other 5 games this year, that he was the main consistent target hog in this offense. And I expect him to reclaim that status because he's been genuinely good. No, Kittle should be back in a few weeks, I believe. I'll actually have to monitor the situation, but let me just take a look here for you. And then we'll get into the next waiver pickup because we're on about 13 minutes right now. So he's on IR. So basically what that means, short-term IR is 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see. NBC's being a little whack, but hey, he's on short-term IR, so that should be about 3 weeks. So I would hold on to him, or obviously if you have an IR spot in your league, stash him on IR. Ayuk droppable. I would still stash him at the end of my bench, but if you need instant production right now, heck, if you need a Rashod Bateman, like I just mentioned, I would absolutely prefer a Bateman to Ayuk at this point. Quarterback to stream got Herb on bye this week. Let me take a look, but I know I don't mind Derek Carr if he's available for your leagues. I actually want to quickly check here. Let me just check the quarterbacks less than 50% rostered on Yahoo and give you a better idea. Let me just take a look. Quarterback filter, all players. Okay, so the quarterback's less than 50% owned or rostered. If Jameis Winston's available, he's not the worst against Seattle, but I would prefer other options. Daniel Jones is one that barks out to me because although he had a bad week this week, he could be a decent top 20 fringe type of quarterback because we saw prior to this week he was pretty consistent. Yeah, like Derek Carr's right on that edge of he's at 53%. So if Derek Carr isn't rostered in your league, I would be willing to start a guy like that. But Carson Wentz, the way he's been playing, he's been picking up these last few weeks. I'm just looking at guys that are less than 50%. Again, if there's a guy like Ryan Tannehill somehow available, or Heck, like someone like that, I would prefer that. But either way, just monitor that. Love the live stream as always. Had a rough go of it last few weeks. Lost by less than points last week and had an advantage. Oof, that is pain. Yeah, we'll get through some of the questions. Quickly before the next few questions, though, I'm going to go on to the second. So the number 2 waiver pickup of the week for me, in my opinion, is going to be Michael Gallup, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, 43% rostered. And if you're picking up Michael Gallup, it is not for week 7. Keep that in mind. The Dallas Cowboys are on bye week 7. Everybody's going to get healthy. Dak Prescott resting that calf. Lyle Collins and Michael Gallup set to return week 8 Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. But we've really seen Michael Gallup. He's been injured since week 1 following that calf injury against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he should be locked and loaded and ready to return following this bye week. And we have seen the emergence of guys like Dalton Schultz, guys like Ced Wilson, Noah Brown in the absence of Michael Gallup. But make no mistake, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, Michael Gallup is the clear and cut third weapon in this team's passing game, which we saw take a little bit of a resurgence this week against New England Patriots, 51 attempts. Now, do I think they're going to throw 51 times a game? No. Do I think they're going to throw 30 times a game like they were in the previous 4 weeks? No. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle, probably in the high 30s type of area. And if that's the case, I mean, we have seen the ability of Michael Gallup in the past. 1,000 yards a couple years ago, actually 1,100, and over 850 last year. So he's a locked and loaded wide receiver 3. He could be a wide receiver 3-4 fringe type in fantasy football. Think of a slightly lesser version of what Antonio Brown's been doing in Tampa Bay. I think that could be the potential ceiling we see from a guy like Michael Gallup. He's got the talent to do it. Let's just see it come to fruition. Let's get through a couple more questions. Allen Robinson at this point is droppable. I would still want to hold him because he is the clear-cut number 1 on that team. Once the passing game starts stepping back up, we should see things resolved. But that offensive line just hasn't given them a chance at all thus far. I have most of my team on bye, so I was thinking about picking up Burrow or Tua. Also need a tight end. The best available is Henry. How do you feel about him? Also struggling with defense. Cardinals are. So to answer the first question, I would personally prefer Burrow. I mean, the way he's been playing, he's just been a better real-life quarterback than Tua. Tua did have an advantage in terms of passing attempts this past week, but he's going to be a volatile option on a week-to-week basis. At least with Burrow, we know he's efficient. We know he's going to put up the yards, and we know that weapons core is phenomenal. So I would personally lean Burrow because I trust the player more. In terms of tight ends available, I don't mind Hunter Henry. I mean, we have seen the consistent involvement with him with the Patriots thus far. Caught a touchdown this week against the Dallas Cowboys. A couple weeks ago, I think he put up 6 for 75. So at this point, you're shooting for upside. You're shooting for touchdowns with the tight end position. And Hunter Henry has at least shown in the past and this year that he's capable of doing so. So I don't mind picking up Hunter Henry if you need a tight end stream. On waivers, would you use your priority ever for a defense? Like, unless the landscape is completely barren at other positions, like there's no flex options. Like, for example, this week, if I was looking at my number 5 waiver pickup being the best one available, I'd probably just pick up a defense. So we'll get into my other waiver pickups, but either way, I would need like a desolate week in terms of the flex position, a desolate week in terms of running back, wide receiver, and tight end to even consider that. Yeah, sure. Lasardo. Damon Harris, we're starting. I mean, he's probably going to be a low-end RB2 type. Think probably like upside on a week-to-week basis, probably just below like a Josh Jacobs. I'm not a huge fan. His receiving game is capped. He has to score touchdowns to return upside in terms of fantasy value, in my opinion. What's good, Danny? If I won the FC Dino sitting alone at the top of the standings, hey Nate, I'll give you Fournette for both those twos, man. You're 5-1, man. Get that stud RB like Leonard Fournette, which I'm not even exaggerating right now. I think is a top 15 running back rest of the season. So, you want to win the Dino League, you got to give me both twos, man. That's just the price of the road. Gaskin or Cordero Patterson, I'm going to go with CPAT until further notice. I mean, we have seen the consistent receiving output, the efficiency that he has exuded thus far. So I'm going to trust CPAT until further notice. Herbert, Booker, or Mitchell, please pick 2. Well, for starters, I think Damian Williams is coming back. I mean, this is going to be a better question on Sunday once we know his status. But if Damian Williams is back, I'm starting Booker and Elijah Mitchell. Would you play Darnold or Jameis this week? I'd actually personally prefer Darnold there. I know he hasn't been good these past few weeks, but both kind of present the same situation. They are very volatile quarterback options that haven't been consistent throughout their careers. So for that reason, I'm just going to go with Darnold because I don't trust Jameis. I don't trust Darnold. I'm going to trust at least Darnold has a better passing ceiling because Jameis is quite literally averaging like 20 passing attempts a game. What's up, Danny? What's up, Pionio? Nice seeing you in here. We already asked that, Amir, or we already answered that. Should I pick up Elijah Mitchell? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. First of all, you absolutely have to pick up Elijah Mitchell. He's the lead back for the Niners. In terms of dropping Madison or Herbert, either, like, I would drop either for Elijah Mitchell, but if you had to choose one, I'd drop Herbert. So Aaron Jones RB1. Yeah. Like Aaron Jones is the RB1 for the Packers. I mean, AJ Dillon does get about 10 opportunities, 12 opportunities per game, but Aaron Jones is one of the most efficient backs in the league. Gets the receiving production, gets the monopoly on the goal line production. I mean, this is a locked and loaded middle RB1 type. Just lost Hunt. Who am I looking to pick up? I'm going to be talking about Dearness Johnson in a bit once I get through a couple of these questions. But Dearness Johnson is the clear-cut handcuff for Kareem Hunt, especially with Nick Chubb dealing with that calf injury. But I'll get into that. Ridley or Metcalf rest of the season. I would slightly prefer Calvin Ridley, but I think they're literally like back-to-back. We talked about it on the rest of the season ranking show if you want to check that out after this live. Dynasty question. Give up AJB in a first to get Diggs, Hubbard, KJ Osborne contending team. I would still prefer the AJB side personally, or AJB side personally. But let me get into my number 3 pickup of the week. And speaking of Michael Gallup, again, if he's available on your waiver wire, it's most likely you can get him for super cheap because the owner didn't want to wait for him to come back from the injury. And with him having a bye week, you could probably get him for cheap or potentially free this week. So make sure you keep an eye on if Michael Gallup is available on your wire because he's a must pickup if so. Talking about the 3 and 4, I'll kind of group them together because they both play for the same team. That's going to be J.D. McKissick and Ricky Seals-Jones of the Washington football team. JD is currently rostered in 42% of the leagues. Ricky Seals-Jones currently rostered in 30% of the leagues. And let's start with what JD McKissick offers. I mean, we saw this past week, he led the backfield in snaps, routes run, and opportunities versus Kansas City. And he has the clear-cut third down and 2-minute drill role for this Washington football team offense. And Antonio Gibson's shin injury is very concerning, to say the least. I've seen multiple doctors talk about the fact that this could be a lingering issue all year. We saw it give him huge discomfort this past week. And we already see, even with Gibson on the field, J.D. McKissick is a locked and loaded RB3 type. If Gibson were to miss any time, I mean, this could be the league-winning running back that we saw McKissick be last year. So absolutely love McKissick. If you are in a pinch at running back, he's the clear-cut answer to your problems. I think for the foreseeable future, he's going to be living in the fringe top 30 of my running back rankings. And obviously, if Gibson were to miss time, we could be talking about a top 20-ish type of running back. I really do think that is in the realm of possibilities for McKissick. And to get that on your waiver wire, that is worth at least 15% or so of your FAAB. So go get McKissick, and let's talk about Ricky Seals-Jones. He has basically fully absorbed this Logan Thomas target hog role in this team's offense. He pulled in 6 targets this week, ran 37 routes, which was the second most on the team behind Terry McLaurin. And as long as Thomas is out, Ricky Seals-Jones is a must-start type of tight end. Due to this usage, I mean, I fully think that this can be a top 10 tight end week to week. I mean, 59 snaps, 37 routes run, 6 targets. We saw the week before he was also consistently involved. So if you're in a pinch at tight end, Ricky Seals-Jones could absolutely be your answer for the short-term future. So before we get into number 5, let's get through a couple more comments. T. Higgins or Keenan Allen rest of the season? I'll go with Keenan Allen there, John. Also, I see the Nuggets logo there. You love to see Nikola Jokic. Stream tight end. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Ricky Seals-Jones. I just mentioned it right now. Ricky Seals-Jones, Hunter Henry, a guy like that could be very good option for you. Deontay, Madison, Goddard for Ridley. That's like, I mean, if you're in desperate need of a tight end, I don't hate it. But I personally would prefer Ridley. But again, if you're in desperate need of a tight end, I think Goddard could be a locked and loaded top 12 to top 10 type of guy. Obviously, with Zach Ertz getting traded. So it fully depends what your team needs. Start Bateman over T. Higgins. I'm not going that far yet. I want to see it another week before I just completely trust Bateman. But week 1 was encouraging. I think T. Higgins, though, is a locked and loaded top 25 to 30 type wide receiver week to week. So I give Tyreek and Chuba for CMC and Keenan. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, in a heartbeat. You wait 3 weeks for CMC, then you get the RB2 overall and Keenan Allen, who's also a very good wide receiver. Absolutely. What about CMC, Keenan, and Michael Thomas? Yeah, dude, if I would say yes to CMC and Keenan. So if you're getting Michael Thomas too, absolutely. Yeah, you're set there, Langdon. Should I trade Ridley for Josh Jacobs or Leonard Fournette? Do not do that, Manny. Promise me. If you have to drop one, Madison, Goddard, or Ertz. If I had to drop one here, I would again. You don't need Goddard and Ertz, so I would just drop Ertz. I traded away Keenan Allen and Amon-Ra for Montgomery. Thoughts? With Montgomery expected out for like 3-4 more weeks, I personally would have rather had the Keenan side, but I guess if you're in a desperate need of upside at the running back position, I understand the rationale. But either way, 3 weeks of Montgomery being out versus a full season of Keenan, I personally would just keep Keenan Allen there. Always started Mike Evans over AB, and it burns me. Is this the week I start AB if Gronk is still out? I have to check who the Bucks are playing. Bush is going to know the matchups a lot more, but because we're going to be looking at the wide receiver cornerback matchups this week. But so they play the Bears. So I still personally would start Mike Evans. I think he's still the locked and loaded wide receiver one, but Bush is going to have more of an idea of what the exact matchups are going to be for the start sit show. So stay tuned for that. The lottery ticket for this week for running backs, LMAO, pick 2 out of this. Gibson, JD, Herbert, and Latavius. I would go with both the Washington football team backs there, Epic Topico. I mean, you're expecting Gibson to maybe rush for a touchdown. McKissick obviously being involved in the passing game. Should I trade Ridley for anybody? I would hold Ridley if your definition is anybody. But for your reference, we talked about in the rest of the season ranking show, I view Ridley as a locked and loaded top 15 wide receiver, fringe top 12-ish for the rest of the season. Can I drop Corey Davis in a 10-man league for JD? Yeah, I don't mind that type of move, especially if you need depth at running back. I think JD has proven himself to be a good depth piece at running back. Someone dropped Waddle, drop Boyd to get Waddle off of waivers. I personally would prefer Waddle, but I would prefer Waddle over Boyd. So if you have to drop Boyd, if he's your worst player, I would for Waddle because we've seen the consistent involvement of Waddle these past few weeks. Bro, everyone in my league said I lost that and vetoed it. Hello, I had to get a second. They vetoed that? Bro, what? They're crazy. They're crazy. I would prefer the CMC side. McKissick or Herbert? I'll go with McKissick because I think Herbert is going to have Damian Williams coming back. Herbert over Dearness Johnson from the Browns. Well, I'd have to know more context because in terms of what happens with Damian Williams, we should know by Thursday anyway, so stay tuned for that. But obviously, if Damian Williams is back, I prefer Dearness because Chubb is dealing with that calf injury. I'm trading Gibson and Waddle for Edmonds and Ridley. Thoughts? Yeah, give me the Ridley side all day here. Felix, good trade there. Should I trade Marvin Jones for Damon Harris? I mean, if you're in desperate need of a running back, I don't hate it because Damon Harris should be a top 20 of it, 25-ish running back rest of the season. Should I trade CD for AJ Brown? This is very close. Both are locked and loaded wide receiver 2 types. Oof. I will slightly prefer CD because the Titans passed the ball at a ridiculously low rate, but that is like talking about like wide receiver 15 versus 16 rest of the season, most likely. Like that is that close. Potential trade CMC CD trade CMC CD Devontae Smith for Ridley Cup CEH. I would rather the CMC side, to be honest here. I think AJB back. Yeah, he looked phenomenal in the second half of that game. I have to drop one of Madison, Dillon, Boyd, Tony for Waddle. I feel like Boyd is the worst one. I'd probably agree with that, especially if you would rather the upside depth pieces, obviously with Cook being injured and Dillon, if Jones were to miss any time. It'd probably be between Dillon and Boyd for me, though. Appreciate the advice, man. Yeah, anytime there, Felix. Glad to see you in the stream. Should I trade away C-Mac, Mike Evans, Kadarius Toney for Diggs, Cup, Montgomery? Did I win? Yeah, like I like the That's really close, but if you need wins now, I think the Diggs Cup side could help you weather the storm a lot more. So I don't mind that type of move. Traycon plus AJB carry me in STM ballers. Yeah, that is in fact the meta. But let's get into the number 5 waiver pickup of the week. We're about 30 minutes into the live stream. Number 5, obviously, for those of you who lost Kareem Hunt or have Nick Chubb with that calf injury, I think Dearness Johnson has earned himself this spot as the number 5 pickup. I mean, he was the second on the team in snaps this week, and he was in fact, the relief back when Hunt went down ahead of the like of a guy like Demetric Felton. And that calf injury is no joke for Chubb. He was already held out of Monday practice, and the Browns play on Thursday Night Football. So the fact that he did not practice on Monday and is still dealing with that calf is very concerning for his status on Thursday Night Football. So for that reason, I mean, the fact that Dearness Johnson could be the lead back week 7 going into Denver, not a great matchup, but that alone is going to make him worth a pickup for a Browns team that we have seen be committed to the run. So Dearness Johnson, number 5 waiver pickup. If you're in desperate need of a running back, he is a streamable RB3 expectation, fringe RB2 expectation type of guy, in my opinion, if Chubb is out in this game. Thoughts on Denver versus New Orleans D this week? Denver D got exposed by Vegas, but they get a Browns team with no one. Yeah, like it's pretty close. You got New Orleans going up against the Seahawks on Monday night or Sunday Night Football. Monday night? Night game. I personally would go New Orleans here. Seattle and Geno Smith doesn't scare me as much. Do I drop? I personally would prefer J.D. McKissick over Dearness Johnson. That's why I had in that order in the pickups. How much time will take Saquon's injury? I believe he's slated out for. It was initially 2 to 4 weeks. So at this point, it should be 1 to 3 weeks away. So he should be back soon. What I heard from it is just your typical low ankle sprain. Like you go to play basketball, you roll your ankle, freaking swells up like a ball. That's basically a similar injury in terms of what Saquon actually suffered. But yeah, no. It should be interesting. Hopefully you guys can weather the storm because I swear half the NFL is on bye week this week. It's going to be pretty brutal. I have a couple of leagues where legitimately half my teams, 3/4 of my teams are all out. But should I trade Higgins for Schultz? I have Kyle. I would prefer. I would prefer T. Higgins over Schultz on face value, and especially because you have Kyle Pitts. Mac Jones or Jimmy G if active. Let me check the matchups. So we got the Patriots going up against the Jets, and you got the 49ers going up against the Colts. I'd go with Mac Jones there. Both should be low volume-ish type of quarterbacks, except Mac Jones has a better matchup against the Jets. Yeah, let me just check here quickly. Kirk, Emmanuel, Diggs, JJ, all out of. Oh, that is straight pain there, Los. Side note, there's 41 people concurrently in the stream right now and only 17 likes. I want to see that number jump up to 25 by the next time I check that. So if you haven't already, leave a like on the stream. Helps the channel grow tremendously. 42 people in here, 17 likes right now. Stevenson or Damon Harris rest of the season. Who do you think will be the RB1? It's going to be Damon Harris. Again, he was banged up coming into the game. Got all of the early quarter type of work and out out opportunities, Stevenson. So I prefer Harris pretty tremendously there. Is Marcus Callaway viable this week? Him or A-Rob? I have both Jeff and Mike Will on bye. He's definitely viable, especially against a volatile Seahawks defense, but him or A-Rob, the fact that that's even a discussion right now makes me sick because A-Rob was supposed to be so much better. But I'll know more for Sunday live stream. Let me just take a look. Bears against the Bucks. I'd probably still go A-Rob. I don't think I'd be able to stomach myself if A-Rob had a good game against a volatile, banged-up Tampa Bay defense, and I started Marquez over him. All my players on bye this week was hoping MT would slide right in because he was supposed to come back, but of course he needs more time. Classic MT, man. He's a crybaby. Should I prioritize adding J.D. McKissick or Kenyon Drake with Hunt down to injury? I would go with McKissick there. With Kenyon Drake is just simply not getting the snap percentage to be viable. He had a couple touchdowns in this past game, but realistically, leading into that game, he was not really getting much involvement. Robinson or CD flex option? You mean rest of the season? Okay. Are you talking about James Robinson? I mean, either way, I personally would still prefer CD Lamb. We see the involvement. He is the clear 1-2 type of weapon in that Cowboys passing offense, which Cowboys have been easily one of the top 3 offenses in the NFL thus far. And CeeDee Lamb has really proven himself in his second year to be a trusted target for Dak Prescott. So I personally would go CeeDee Lamb, but James Robinson should be a locked and loaded fringe RB1 rest of the season, given the workload we have seen from him thus far. What's up, 25? Nice seeing you in the chat. I'll probably go on here until about 45 minutes. So just leave some more comments down below, and I'll feel free to get to them. Got a busy day today. It's going to be straight pain. Antonio Perez lost for us. Half PPR. Have a trade offer. Keenan Allen for Stafford and Sanders. Thoughts? Give me Keenan Allen there every day. Keenan Allen for me is a locked and loaded top 15-ish type of wide receiver. 38 people in here. I'd love to see it. Also, did you guys notice? I'm not sure if you guys are on Twitter, but Chris Broussard on Twitter basically was talking about how the Bills on that fourth and goal sneak or 4th and 1 or inches sneak at the end of the game, they were really missing their stalwart left tackle Taylor Lewan, and I was just watching that. I'm like, does he not realize that Lewan's on the Titans? Like, I don't know, that was fucking funny because he's talking about how the Bills missed him so much when he's never been a Bill in his life, and he was actually on the other team. But anyways, 37 minutes in the live stream, 39 people in here. Let's see some more comments. Let's go. I don't want to be talking to myself. I want to talk to you guys. Do I start Sam Darnold or Tua this week? That is very close. I would go actually with Tua because he's just been playing better. So, Sam Darnold's really struggled these past couple of weeks. I'll go Tua. Do you trust Jonathan Taylor? Absolutely. I trust Jonathan Taylor. The overall volume is not going to be as high as many of the other RB1s. But we have seen Jonathan Taylor has the ability to rip off 83-yard runs on any given Sunday, like we saw this past week going against Houston. So I really trust Jonathan Taylor. I think he is a clear-cut top 10-ish type of running back for the rest of the season. That whole ESPN crew last night wanted the Titans to win. They called Allen yeah, that's fucking jokes. Can't believe I have a midterm in 8 minutes after that heartbreak last night. Yeah, that is straight pain. Wish you luck on that, by the way. I have a midterm tomorrow at 3. Because get this, I was supposed to have it on Saturday, like this past Saturday. My the site that holds my test crashed on me mid-test. Yeah, it was not fun. So I have to write it on Wednesday, and it's finance, which absolutely sucks because like bond stocks, I had no clue what the hell I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna have to figure that out today. Also, I have 3 assignments and another midterm on Saturday. So this hell week. They call Josh Allen made a nice bet. Yeah, that's freaking jokes. Latavius Murray, Javonte Williams, or AJ Dillon start 1. I believe Latavius is banged up, but if Latavius is healthy going into this game, it will be him. If Latavius is banged up, I'll go with Javonte. Yeah, of course they did. They have no clue what the fuck they're talking about, man. Like it's hilarious. Have Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, and CD. I want Debo. So ambitious. Yeah, that's phenomenal. At the end of the day, here, try to build as much talent as you possibly can, right? Which your quarterback should I start? I have Jameis, Tua, and Bridgewater. So you got the Broncos going up against the Browns on Thursday Night Football. Jameis going up against Seattle, and Tua for sure is going to be in. But let me just see what the other one is. Miami goes up against the Dolphins. Play what? Am I tripping? Oh, Falcons. Yeah, easily Tua, and I would go with probably Jameis. But that's close. Ali Cox, who used almost to pick off waivers, knocks on bye this week. That's a pretty gross question, but I will slightly lean Uzama, but I don't want to start either. They're like fringe, like top 25-ish type options. In a rebuild, moving Dak for Deshaun in the first, 2023 first, a good move. Yeah, that's not a bad move. I mean, I don't expect Deshaun Watson to be out for his career. So given the ambiguity, you capitalize on it, get a 2023 first, which would be a very good class. And hell, worst case scenario, say Deshaun doesn't come back. Yeah, you're going to lose value on Dak, but you should still be able to get like a Bryce Young or a Bijan Robinson or somebody like that. Like that the prospect that you're getting with that pick should still be very good, to the point where even if all thing goes to hell and Deshaun doesn't come back the same or doesn't come back for a while, at least that pick is going to hold a really ton of value, especially close to the draft. Al Robinson or Sterling Shepard? I'd go Shepard at this point. I know it's gross, but yeah, give me Shepard. I mean, we have seen consistent involvement from him. Can't say the same about A-Rob. Winston, Tua, or Wentz this week? Give me Tua there pretty easily against the Falcons. Panthers defense, it is okay. If not, can you tell me a wider defense option? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the Panthers defense is okay, but if you're looking for a waiver wire defense here, let me just quickly help here. So looking at less than 50% rostered, you got the Niners going up against Indy. I don't mind that. Saints against fucking Seattle. I mean, the Seahawks offense can't be trusted, to say the least, so I don't mind that. Yeah, like aside from that, those are probably the main two defenses I'm looking at. Yeah. Waiver wire thin in my league, it's rough. Yeah, that's pain, Noah. Hopefully one of those guys does the business for you. Wentz or Bridgewater this week, full PPR. I know I just mentioned San Francisco like defense, but I'll still lean with Wentz there, because at least we've seen him stretch the field in these recent weeks, whereas that Broncos offense after the 3-0 start has looked pretty disgusting. JT or for Deshaun and Pitts in a rebuild. That's close. I'm assuming it's a super flex league. I don't mind making that plunge, especially because Kyle Pitts' value is only going to go up. I know JT is pretty much the consensus top 3 running back in Dynasty right now. I honestly think you could probably get a first attached to that right side, in all honesty, given the ambiguity of Deshaun's situation. But it's taking a risk for sure. But if you're comfortable stomaching a risk like that, listen, I think Deshaun's going to be back next year. I think he's going to be fine. The allegations, while they may not go away, aren't going to forever haunt him. And if that's the case, once Deshaun's back, he's going to be locked and loaded, top 8-ish type of pick in Superflex drafts. So if you're willing to take that type of plunge, I don't mind it. But I think you're going to probably get maybe not a first, but definitely like a 2 attached to that. And in that type of situation with so much ambiguity around Deshaun Watson, you could probably capitalize it on an owner that's probably panicked, probably looking to win now by getting JT. For a bench, would you go Michael Carter or Ertz? Depends if you need a tight end, but either way, I would go with Michael Carter here pretty easily. It's shown to be that RB1 for the Jets this year. When do you think Javonte will be number 1 running back of Denver? I actually talked about it a little bit on the live stream yesterday, but I think we could see a situation where Melvin Gordon may potentially be dealt at the deadline. Currently, the deadline is in 13 days, so we'll see what happens there. But either way, I mean, Javonte Williams has been really good, but Melvin Gordon's been good too, so it's tough to say when exactly. Is Collins hurt? Who's next in Seattle? It should be Rashad Penny if Alex Collins misses that game, if I'm taking a guess. Michael Carter or Zach Ertz? Yeah, I would prefer Carter here on face value. Currently got 1 more minute, so raise any lasting questions you have in the chat, and I'll get to them quickly before signing off. Good stream, though, guys. Pick up Landry and drop Robbie Anderson. Yeah, I don't mind making that move at all. Landry should be slated back soon, if not this week, and he is shown to be more consistently involved in his offense than Robbie has in the Panthers' offense. So yeah, give me Landry. I should do it, but again, here, let me just show you guys the waivers quickly before I sign off, so you you know at least what you're looking for. Here, give me a second. So, yeah, just to recap the waivers, top 5 waiver pickups. Number 1, Rashod Bateman. Number 2, Michael Gallup. Number 3, J.D. McKissick. Number 4, Ricky Seals-Jones. And number 5, Ernest Johnson. So, if you guys can see that, all means, let me answer these last 2 questions. Trade Devontae for T. Higgins. Yeah, I mean, face value is probably fair. So, I don't mind making that type of move. Does Gaston do anything this week, or am I going to have to start Damian Williams against Tampa Bay in full PPR? If Damian Williams plays, I would much rather start Damian Williams because I think he gets a receiving work out of the backfield, and he is the receiving back when he's healthy. So, yep, we're about 45 minutes in. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the stream as always. And if you're in the Discord, I will prop this graphic in the Discord so you guys, whether you want to recap or you want to look again at the graphic of who to pick up, I'll make sure to leave that for you guys. Bateman or Carter? I would prefer Bateman. I think Bateman's going to be a steady wide receiver through the rest of the season. Thanks, man. Yeah, anytime they're smooth. And as always, the 37 of you still in here, leave a like before you leave. Helps a lot. Doesn't hurt. And stay tuned for this week. Bush is going to be dropping pretty much a video a day. So make sure you stay tuned. I wish I could say the same, but school's been kicking my ass. So peace out, y'all. See you on Thursday night live stream. That's probably going to be the next time you see me.